Over the past week, the social media has been buzzing with debates about GST, all sparked by the controversy surrounding the so-called popcorn tax.
India's latest tax hikes have sparked widespread discussions among businesses and consumers alike.
पॉपकॉर्न पर जीएसटी की 3 दरें।
While the council also increased the GST rate on caramel popcorn to 18%.
As an economist, do you also have similar confusion about this tax structure as perhaps a layman would have? Or do you think it is simple, it is complicated because we as common people do not understand the economics?
The opposition has jumped at the chance, framing it as an opportunity to criticize the central government.
Opposition leaders, Congress leaders, there you can see Rahul Gandhi all protesting against the price rise and the impact it has on the common people.
But what's the real story here? The GST introduced to the 101st Constitutional Amendment is a groundbreaking reform designed to streamline and unify India's economy. While the GST rates have undergone revisions in certain areas, some are spinning misleading narratives to sway public opinion. In this video, we'll explore how GST has strengthened India's economy, uncover the truth behind the recent controversy, and debunk the opposition's claims with facts and figures. It's time to separate truth from the rhetoric. Let's dive in. In July 2017, the Modi government introduced one of the most transformative tax reforms in India's history, the Goods and Services Tax. This revolutionary system replaced a major of taxes, including 17 central and state level levies like the excise duty, service tax, and VAT, and other 13 additional cesses. By consolidating these taxes, the GST aimed to simplify the tax structure, boost compliance, and unify the economy under a single tax regime. GST has been instrumental in driving India's economic growth and enhancing the revenue collections. Let's take a look at the numbers in 2024 itself. In May 2024, the gross GST revenue reached an impressive rupees 1.73 lakh crore, showcasing a 10% year-on-year growth. This surge was fueled by a 15.3% increase in domestic transactions, reflecting strong economic activity. For the fiscal year 23-24, the total GST collections stood at approximately rupees 20.18 trillion, marking an 11.7% increase from the previous fiscal year. These growing revenues are vital for funding government initiatives, including infrastructure projects and social programs that drive long-term economic growth. Before the implementation of the GST, when the Modi-led BJP government came into power in 2014-15, there was a noticeable shift in the financial landscape. With the introduction of the GST in 2017, the devolution of finances to the states saw a remarkable rise. Between financial year 2014-15 and 23-24, the Modi government devolved rupees 84.3 lakh crore to the states, a 3.8 time increase compared to the 22.1 lakh crore rupees devolved during the financial year 2004-05 to financial year 13-14 under the UPA regime. This decadal growth in financial devolution highlights the transformative impact of GST regime in India's economy. This accounts for about 1% of the GDP, emphasizing the government's commitment to cooperative federalism and empowering the states. To ensure states were not adversely affected during the transition to GST, the Modi government guaranteed a 14% annual revenue growth compensation until 2022 by a substantial sacrifice of 0.5% to 1% of the GDP in GST revenues. In comparison, the UPA government only sacrifices revenues to benefit chronic corporates through tax intensive. Whereas, under the Modi government, the bulk of tax benefits are now going to individual taxpayers rather than the big corporations. Now that we have understood the impact of GST in India, let's understand the politics around it in detail and bring out the truth. A common narrative alleges that the GST Council is biased towards the central government, sidelining the states. Let's examine the truth here. The GST Council is not a unilateral body. It comprises finance ministers from all Indian states, including the opposition-led states, along with representatives from the central government. This ensures representation across political and geographical boundaries. Any decision in the GST Council requires a 3/4 majority to be approved, which includes representatives from the state governments, including the opposition-led states. The voting weight is distributed as 2/3 for the states and 1/3 for the central government, making it impossible for the center to dominate decisions unilaterally. The GST Council on 21st December 2024 decided to increase taxes on the margins of supplier on sale of small used cars, including EVs, from 12% to 18%. This news brought debates among netizens on social media. Many opposition leaders from AAP, Congress and Samajwadi Party have started attacking the incumbent BJP-led central government. Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal said, purchasing a car is a big deal for an ordinary middle-class family. But the central government is crushing their dreams by increasing taxes even on old cars. The BJP government at the center is working only for the rich and industrialists. It is only providing inflation, taxes and pain to the common man and the poor of this country. He posted this on X. Even Akhilesh Yadav has tweeted in a similar fashion, saying that the Modi government is creating an environment of uncertainty. Firstly, this is a completely false claim. First, GST on used cars has been around since 2017 when the tax regime was introduced. So this isn't a sudden imposition designed to burden the middle class. Second, the 18% GST is applied only on the margin amount, the difference between the sale price and the purchase price. For example, if a dealer buys a car for Rs 5 lakh and sells it for 5.5 lakh, the GST calculated will be on the 50,000 margin, not the full sale price, which will be around 9,000. Thirdly, this tax is specific to businesses like car dealerships. If you are an individual buying a selling or a car which is used directly, you are exempted from the GST increase. This means if an individual buys a car for Rs 5 lakh and sells it for 5.5 lakh, the GST will be at 12% only and not 18%. Is the Modi government really anti-middle class? Does it favor corporates over the common man? This accusation has been at the center of political debates for years, especially with the Congress repeatedly attacking the Modi government as being pro-corporate. But is there evidence to back this claim or just a political rhetoric? Let's take a closer look at the data and policies. Before GST, consumers faced a heavy burden due to tax on tax effect, where the same product was taxed multiple times, making it more expensive. To ease this burden, especially for the middle class, the Modi government introduced GST in 2017. Despite the Subramaniam Committee recommending a revenue neutral rate of 15.3%, the government set an effective weighted average GST at a lower rate of 14.4%, which further dropped to 11.6% in 2019, showcasing efforts to make taxation more consumer friendly. The GST has significantly benefited consumers, especially the middle class and poor. Nearly 60% of the household consumptions, including essentials like soap and electronics, now falls under the 5% or lower tax slab, while less than 3% of the items face the highest tax rate of 28%. This ensures that daily use products are taxed at lower rates, aligning with the government's commitment to support the common man. From December 2017 to March 2023, GST has saved households an incredible Rs 45,000 crore per month, savings that wouldn't have been possible without this GST reform. These savings have been a boon for the lower and middle class, improving their financial stability and their living standards. The GST Council's move to tax popcorn differently based on sugar or spice content has drawn criticism from the opposition and sparked social media outrage, with two former government economic advisors questioning the tax system introduced in 2017. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh lashed out this and said that it's absurd to have different tax slabs for popcorn. Similarly, social media buzzing with memes, but are those criticisms genuine? Let's break down the popcorn tax and understand in detail. Under the new policy, the popcorns will be categorized under the 5% GST, 12% GST and 18% GST slab. If you are buying salted popcorn from a vendor or at the roadside stall, it falls under the namkeen category and is taxed at 5%. This low rate keeps it affordable for everyday buyers. This has been clarified by the finance minister already. Prepackaged and branded salted popcorn, often purchased for its convenience, is subjected to a 12% GST rate. This higher rate reflects the status as a processed and branded product, adding value beyond the loose, unpackaged version. Now, caramelized popcorn, which includes added sugar, butter, and other premium ingredients, is taxed at 18% GST. This is classified as a sugar confectionery under the HS 1990 category. It is considered a luxury snack due to its production complexity and indulgent nature. This classification aligns with the broader tax principle of imposing higher rates on non-essential premium goods. Having explored GST in its entirety, its pivotal role in India's economy, the criticism surrounding it, and the factual rebuttals to those criticisms, it's now time for you, the viewers, to take the charge. Stay informed, critically analyze the facts, and rise above the propaganda often pushed by the political narratives.